اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور.
اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور به ترقى.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وآله وصحبه أجمعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Alhamdulillah, we've reached the chapter 55, hadith number 387. باب ما جاء في ميراث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The chapter of what did the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم leave as inheritance? What did he leave behind him? What did the Prophet ﷺ leave behind him? As a general rule, the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ, where do you find it at? Who knows where the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ is at? His mirath, the stuff he left behind when he died. Do you know where you can find it at? What museum? Huh? It's a museum, right? It is a museum, you're right. What's the museum called? Huh? It's a museum? What's the name of the museum? If we're saying that a museum is a place where protected things are at, right?
Yeah.
Tell you.
And ancient stuff.
Would you want to visit where the Prophet left his mirath at?
Yeah.
You would like to see it, right? It's beautiful. What would you do if you had a chance to take it?
Take pictures.
You would take pictures? What if you could take it with you instead?
I'll take it.
You wouldn't take it? What if I told you it's free? There's too precious, right? The mirath of the Prophet ﷺ? That's true. You guys are all right. The inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ is too precious for anybody to take. Only a special person should be able to take that, correct? Huh? What do you think? Should only a special person be able to take that? Everyone's not going to be able to take that. Correct? But if they gave you the chance, let's say you had the chance to take it. Let's say we can go, right? Would you want to go see it? What country do you think it's at? Medina? MashaAllah. What if I told you it's here in America too? They have the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ is here in America too. What if I told you that? Would you go to the place that it's at? No matter if it's at California, you'll go, right? Wouldn't you want to see that? I've seen it, I'm telling you. And I took some of it. Wallahi, I took some of it.
Where is it now at your home?
Do you want it? Do you want some?
No.
You don't want the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ?
It's not like I'm allowed to take it.
Huh?
I'm not allowed to take it.
You're not allowed to take it? Only special people can take hold of this.
Yeah, that's special person.
The inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ is knowledge.
Is it his kitab?
The gatherings of this is his inheritance. You're taking from it now. Understand how important that is. The prophets don't leave as inheritance gold and silver. Rather, they leave behind them this knowledge. So now, you were willing to go to Medina to go see his inheritance. You were willing to go to California. It's right here in your masjid. Are you going to take from it? But only special people can get it. You were right. If you notice, only the special ones. So you should feel special.
So it's built inside the masjid?
No, it's the knowledge of the Prophet ﷺ that was left. That gatherings of knowledge is where the Prophet ﷺ's inheritance is distributed. That's what he left behind. So you should feel special, right? That you're getting some of that, right? When many people, they walk right by it. They don't want none of it. How many people do you know walk right past the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ? Yeah. So that should make you feel special and honored, and it should make you take this more serious. Otherwise, do we want the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ to just be left and nobody take it? Yes.
Did you go to the actual museum? Or did you just go to like another place where you could get the Prophet's inheritance?
The knowledge, the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ is taken on sheikh, like this. From sheikh to the sheikh. That's how you take it. From your teachers. Of course you got to get it from another person. You have to get it from chest to chest. It's talaqqi. Right? You have to take it from the scholars, right? They give it to you. You got to take it from them, right from them, like this.
Would she have to give it to you?
A few. Which gave it to you is the question.
You?
Well, maybe. Maybe I take it. Yeah, maybe, inshallah. Tayyib. So pay attention to this chapter. You're going to see, you're going to learn a lot. Inshallah, right? طيب باب ما جاء في ميراث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. حدثنا أحمد بن منيع أخبرنا حسين بن محمد أخبرنا إسرائيل عن أبي إسحاق عن عمرو بن الحارث أخي جويرية له صحبة رضي الله عنهما قال ما ترك الرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا سلاحه وبغلته وأرضا جعلها صدقة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, when he died, he didn't have nothing else in his possession that he left behind him except for his weapons, a mule, and some land that he had made it for sadaqah, some land that he had placed for sadaqah. حدثنا محمد بن المثنى أخبرنا أبو الوليد أخبرنا حماد بن سلمة عن محمد بن عمرو عن أبي سلمة عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال جاءت فاطمة رضي الله عنها إلى أبي بكر رضي الله عنه قالت من يرثك؟ فقال أهلي وولدي. فقالت ما لي لا أرث أبي. فقال أبو بكر رضي الله عنه سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لا نورث ولكني أعول من كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعوله وأنفق على من كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ينفق عليه. Pay attention to this hadith. Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, she came to Abu Bakr, who was the leader of the Muslims at that time, right? She went to Abu Bakr, the leader of the Muslims, to address her concern. She had a concern. So she came to him and she said, who's going to inherit from you? To Abu Bakr, who's going to inherit from you? And he said, you know, my family, my wives, my children, they're going to inherit from me. So Fatima, she then said, then what's the situation that I'm not able to inherit from my father? If your children can inherit from you, why can't I inherit from my father? So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he said that I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that we do not leave inheritance, meaning the prophets. We do not leave inheritance behind us. But Abu Bakr then he said, but I'll take care of whoever the Prophet ﷺ used to take care of, and I'll spend on whoever the Prophet ﷺ used to spend on. You see, Abu Bakr, he didn't just leave them dry. That if you're the family of the Prophet ﷺ, then I'll spend on you. And that's been normally a sunnah of the leaders ever since, that they would take care of the family of the Prophet ﷺ because they can't receive sadaqah. So the leaders of the people would normally give them and take care of their needs. Hadith 389. حدثنا محمد بن المثنى حدثنا يحيى بن كثير العنبري أبو غسان أخبرنا شعبة عن عمرو بن مرة عن أبي البختري أن العباس وعليا رضي الله عنهما جاء إلى عمر رضي الله عنه يختصمان يقول كل واحد منهما لصاحبه أنت كذا أنت كذا. فقال عمر لطلحة والزبير وعبد الرحمن بن عوف والسعد رضي الله عنهم نشدتكم بالله أسمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل مال نبي صدقة إلا ما أطعمه إلا إنا لا نورث. وفي الحديث قصة. In this narration, it mentions that. It mentions that Al-Abbas, who is who? Who's Al-Abbas? The uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, right? The father of Ibn Abbas. Al-Abbas and Ali, radiallahu anhuma, they came to the Prophet, they came to Umar radiallahu anhu. And they were arguing. Each one of them was saying, hey, you're this, you're that. And they were arguing, having a dispute amongst themselves. So they came to Umar, who was a leader at that time. So Umar, he said to Talha and Zubair. He said to Talha, he said to Zubair, he said to Abdurrahman bin Auf, and he said to Sa'ad, radiallahu anhum. He said, I'm asking you by Allah. Did you not hear the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that all of the wealth of a prophet is sadaqah except for what he eats from? And indeed, we do not leave inheritance. We do not leave inheritance. حدثنا محمد بن المثنى أخبرنا صفوان بن عيسى عن أسامة بن زيد عن الزهري عن أروة عن عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا نورث ما تركنا فهو صدقة. He said that we do not leave inheritance. Whatever we leave behind, it becomes sadaqah. It becomes sadaqah. Hadith 391 حدثنا محمد بن بشار أخبرنا عبد الرحمن بن مهدي أخبرنا سفيان عن أبي الزناد عن الأعرج عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا تقتسموا ورثتي دينار ولا درهما ما تركت بعد نفقة. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. لا تقتسموا ورثتي دينار ولا درهما ما تركت بعد نفقة النساء ومؤنة عاملي فهو الصدقة. He said, don't divide my inheritance after me as dinars and dirhams, silver and gold coins. Whatever I leave behind me is food to feed my women, my wives, and provisions for my workers, right? The people who used to work. That is, فهو صدقة, then it's صدقة. حديث 392 حدثنا الحسن بن علي الخلال أخبرنا بشر بن عمر قال سمعت مالك بن أنس عن الزهري عن مالك بن أوس بن الحدثاني قال دخلت على عمر رضي الله عنه فدخل عليه عبد الرحمن بن عوف رضي الله عنه وطلحة وسعد رضي الله عنهما وجاء علي والعباس رضي الله عنهما يختصمان فقال لهم عمر أنشدكم بالذي بإذنه تقوم السماء والأرض أتعلمون أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال نورة ما تركنا صدقة فقال اللهم نعم. Similar narration that we said before about Talha, about Al-Abbas and Ali disputing about having their dispute. نعم. حديث 393 حدثنا محمد بن بشار أخبرنا عبد الرحمن بن مهدي أخبرنا سفيان عن عاصم بن بهدلة عن زر بن هبيش عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت ما ترك الرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم دينار ولا درهما ولا شاب ولا بعير قال وأشك في العبد والأمة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم didn't leave behind not a gold coin or a silver coin nor a lamb or any type of camel. And I'm doubtful that he left behind any type of slave or woman slave behind either. باب ما جاء في رؤية النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في المنام. And this is the last chapter. ولله الحمد. باب ما جاء في رؤية النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في المنام. And this chapter is one of the main reasons behind studying this book. So that if you ever were to see the Prophet ﷺ in a dream, you would know that it's the Prophet and not somebody else. You would know how he looked, how he walked. Right? You have a description of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Babu ma jaa fi ru'yat an-nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam fil manam. The chapter of dreaming about the Prophet, having a dream about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or seeing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream while sleeping. حديث 394 حدثنا محمد بن بشار حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن مهدي حدثنا سفيان عن أبي إسحاق عن أبي الأحوص عن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من رآني في المنام فقد رآني فإن الشيطان لا يتمثل بي. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, whoever sees me in a dream, then he has actually seen me, because the shaitan is not able to take the likeliness of me in a dream. He can't imitate me. He's not able to imitate me or, take my appearance. Hadith 395. حدثنا محمد بن بشار ومحمد بن المثنى قال أخبرنا محمد بن جعفر حدثنا شعبة عن أبي حسين عن أبي صالح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من رآني في المنام فقد رآني فإن الشيطان لا يتصور أو قال لا يتشبه بي. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever sees me in a dream, then indeed he has saw me, because the shaitan cannot take my appearance. He cannot take my appearance, nor can he yatashabbahu bi. He can't make himself look like me. Hadith 396. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد حدثنا خلف بن خليفة عن أبي مالك الأشجعي عن أبيه رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من رآني في المنام فقد رآني قال أبو عيسى وأبو مالك هذا هو سعد بن طارق بن الأشيم وطارق بن الأشيم هو من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد روى عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحاديث. قال أبو عيسى وسمعت علي بن حجر يقول قال خلف بن خليفة رأيت عمرو بن حريث رضي الله عنه صاحب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنا غلام صغير. This narration is the same thing, just give some biographical details about the narrators. Hadith 397. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد حدثنا عبد الواحد بن زياد عن عاصم بن كليب حدثني أبي أنه سمع أبا هريرة رضي الله عنه يقول قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من رآني في المنام فقد رآني فإن الشيطان لا يتمثلني. قال أبي فحدثت به ابن عباس رضي الله عنه وقلت قد رأيته فذكرت الحسن بن علي رضي الله عنهما فقلت شبهته به. فقال ابن عباس رضي الله عنه إنه كان يشبهه. This narration was saying that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he narrated this hadith again, that whoever sees the Prophet ﷺ in a dream, that he has indeed seen him, because the shaitan cannot take my appearance. So the narrator, he says, I said, my father, he said, I told this Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, and he said, وَقُلْتُ, and I said, I saw him, meaning the Prophet ﷺ in a dream. So I mentioned, I mentioned Al-Hasan ibn Ali, like he mentioned that he looked like Hasan ibn Ali to him, radiallahu anhuma. So then he said, I made his appearance to be like that. Like, to me, he had the appearance of Al-Hasan. So Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, he said, indeed, he used to look like him. Like, he looked like Al-Hasan. Yes.
How would we know it was the Prophet? Because we don't know what he looks like.
Well, I know what he looks like. And I believe the rest of the people who were here from the beginning of the class know what he looks like. Right? That's what the whole purpose of the book was, for, so we can know what he looks like. What color was the Prophet ﷺ? What's that mean? We have this distinct. He wasn't pale white, nor was he dark brown, right? So he was an in-between color, but some people say he had rosy reddish cheeks, right? How was the teeth of the Prophet ﷺ? He had a gap in between them, see? How was his hair? Wasn't straight nor curly. How long was it? It would come to his shoulder sometimes it would come to his ears, sometimes it would come a little bit below that, right? How tall was he? Not too tall, not too short. How was the hair on his body? He was hairy on his shoulders, right? And on his arms, but on his chest, he only had a line of hair coming up to it, right? Up to here. Right? How was his build? Was he a small guy or a big guy? He was big boned. His head was thick, right? How was his face? Was it square? How was it? It was round, right? Was he fat? His chest was equal to his stomach. His stomach didn't come out, right? He had thick, joint bones. Right? You see? So we know what the Prophet ﷺ looks like. This whole book was about this. So, review it, inshallah. Maybe you go back and watch the videos. Inshallah. Now. Hadith 398. حدثنا محمد بن بشار حدثنا ابن أبي عدي ومحمد بن جعفر قال حدثنا عوف بن أبي جميلة عن يزيد الفارسي وكان يكتب المصاحف قال رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في المنام زمن ابن عباس فقلت لابن عباس إني رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في النوم فقال ابن عباس إن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقول إن الشيطان لا يستطيع أن يتشبه بي فمن رآني في النوم فقد رآني فهل تستطيع أن تنعت هذا الرجل الذي رأيته في النوم قال نعم أنعت لك رجل بين الرجلين جسمه ولحمه أسمر إلى بياض أكحل العينين حسن الضحك وجميل الدوائر الوجه قد ملأت لحيته ما بين هذه إلى هذه قد ملأت نحره قال عوف ولا أدري ما كان مع هذا النعت فقال ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما لو رأيته في اليقظة ما استطعت أن تنعته فوق هذا ما شاء الله. So this man, he came, he said that I saw the Prophet ﷺ in my dream during the time of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma. So he said, I came to Ibn Abbas and he said, I saw the Prophet in my dream. Right? So Ibn Abbas, he said, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that whoever sees me in my dream, that the shaitan is not able to take my appearance. So whoever sees me in his dream, then he has indeed saw me, right? Alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, whoever saw the Prophet ﷺ, he has indeed saw him. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever sees me has indeed seen me. So then Ibn Abbas said, can you describe him? Are you able to describe the person that you saw in your dream? So he said, yeah, I can describe him. So he said, I described him between being two people. His body was, in flesh, was like, it wasn't really brown, but it wasn't white. He said his eyes looked like they had kuhl on them. He had a beautiful smile or a laugh. His beard used to fill up, that was considered like his chest, his neck area. He had a thick beard. The Prophet ﷺ, his beard wasn't really long, but it was thick. You get the difference? So it wasn't like his beard was here, but it filled up his area. It filled up this area like this, very thick. So after he described him, he said, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, if you were to see him while you were awake, you wouldn't have been able to describe him as good as you did. So it said that, this was the description of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال أبو عيسى ويزيد الفارسي هو يزيد بن هرمز وهو أقدم من يزيد الرقاشي وروى يزيد الفارسي عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه أحاديث ويزيد الرقاشي لم يدرك ابن عباس وهو يزيد بن أبان الرقاشي وهو يروي عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه ويزيد الفارسي ويزيد الرقاشي كلاهما من أهل البصرة وعوف بن أبي جميلة وهو عوف العربي. حدثنا أبو داود سليمان بن السلم البلخي حدثنا النضر بن شميل قال عوف الأعرابي أنا أكبر من قتادة. حديث 399 حدثنا عبد الله بن أبي زياد حدثنا يعقوب بن إبراهيم بن سعد حدثنا ابن أخي بن شهاب الزهري عن عمه قال أبو سلمة قال أبو قتادة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من رآني يعني في النوم فقد رأى الحق. Whoever saw me in their dream, they have seen the truth. حديث 400 حدثنا عبد الله بن عبد الرحمن حدثنا معلى بن أسر حدثنا عبد العزيز بن المختار حدثنا ثابت عن أنس رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من رآني في المنام فقد رآني فإن الشيطان لا يتخيل بي. قال ورؤيا المؤمن جزء من 46 جزءا من النبوة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم here, he said that whoever saw me in a dream, then they have indeed saw me, because the shaitan, he cannot make a person imagine that they were seeing me. The shaitan is not able to make a person imagine that they were seeing me. وَرُؤْيَ الْمُؤْمِنِ, in the dream of a believer, is one of the 46 parts of prophet that are still here. So sometimes a believer has a dream, right? And then it comes true. You ever see like this? You had a dream that you were eating nice whatever, and you had a dream, oh man, I remember this. Never had like this ever? Sometimes you have it, right? Some people call it deja vu. There's no deja vu. This is Allah give the believer a dream. And the more strong a person's iman is, the more of these they have. They have more of these, right? They have a dream and they say, oh, I saw this before, I saw it in my dream, and this type of thing. This is one of the last parts of prophet that's left amongst the believers, that a person has dreams that they come true. Does that mean that it's, you take it as the sharia? You had in a dream that you should pray 6 raka'at. Should that become? No, it's not what that's talking about. طيب. Hadith 401. حدثنا محمد بن علي قال سمعت أبي يقول قال عبد الله بن مبارك إذا ابتليت بالقضاء فعليك بالأثر. This is very important, 2 hadith at the end of the book. At the end of the book, he mentions 2 very important hadith, and I want you to listen closely to what they are. He says that Ibn al-Mubarak was one of the imams of the salaf, one of the big top imams of the salaf, right? Ibn al-Mubarak was famous because he wasn't just a scholar, he also was a mujahid. He also used to go to fight. He did it, he wore a few different hats. He was what we call a warrior scholar, right? He went to go fight as well as he would go and teach the people, and so on and so forth. So he said, if you are ever tested with being a judge, then make sure you stick to the narrations. What does that mean to us, right? Especially in today's time, the whole premise, the most important part of this whole narration is that make sure that you stick to what the Prophet ﷺ said and did. You stick to the statements of the Sahaba, that you don't choose that and prefer that over other people. If you see today, that's why many people are getting themselves in trouble, because they're everywhere. When you're everywhere, you're never there, right? When you're everywhere, you're never there, because you're trying to please everyone. And when you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing nobody. So the correct way is to stick to the methodology of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, regardless who hates you because of it, regardless who thinks that you're old-fashioned, right? You could be old-fashioned, but if it takes you to Jannah, guess what? That's progressive, because Jannah is progressive, right? You don't want to be in the fire. فَلَتَقَدَّمْ, right? Whoever wants to, let them go and put forth good deeds. So acting in obedience to Allah is always the most progressive way to be. But if you act in obedience to shaitan, that's always going backwards. So somebody thinks you're old-fashioned. Why? Because you want to do it the correct way and you want to follow Allah and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say, oh, you're boring, you're old-fashioned. You say, alhamdulillah, because the shaitan will entertain you in Jahannam. Right? You want entertainment? Tayyib, the shaitan has a place for that. يَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. Right? Pay attention to that closely. Because nowadays everyone is thinking about, if I like it, it's okay. That's the rule of thumb today, right? If I enjoy it, then it must be permissible. No, that's not the rule of thumb. The test for us is what the Prophet ﷺ said and did, and what his companions did. Nothing else matters. Not what you think, not what I think. My opinion, not your opinion, doesn't matter. You could take that and throw it against the wall. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? What did his companions do? Because guess what? He was the one who was sent, right? He was the one who was sent to teach us. What not, the rest of us, we follow that. None of us have an opinion above that. So even some of you young people, because you guys are the most opinionated people on the earth today, right? You have an opinion about everything. Guess what? It doesn't matter. It's nice to hear it, mashallah. It's very, very, entertaining, right? I was young many moons ago, right? Many moons ago, I was young too. And I thought that my opinion mattered more than everything on the earth. I couldn't imagine why the old people didn't believe what I was saying. Right? I didn't understand. Like, why are they so old and crazy? They don't know? I know how you feel, trust me. He said, these old guys don't know nothing what we're going through today. They think they know it all. Well, they say looking at things through rear view is better than looking at it in the front, right? You don't know where you're going, but what about the people who've already been there? They've already been there, so they said, man, I've been there, I know how to get there. I detoured even maybe, right? I know how to get there. Listen. It's like GPS. You trust the GPS. Why? Because it's already mapped it out. You don't take a Jeep, right? That's why you trust the GPS. It already mapped it out. The same thing with life. Some of us old people, we already mapped out some things, right? We know that, okay, listen, man, I tried that 10 times already. It never works. You said, no, but I know how to do it a different way. I said, oh, man, here you go. You have it figured out for some reason that, you're 17, 15, 12, 13 years of life on this earth. You figured it out. When you have people 50, 60, 70 years old, haven't figured it out. So you slow down, right? Slow down and follow the way of the people who came before you. The biggest test that you all are going to fall into today is that they're telling you, and they're trying to put it into your mind, look how crazy this is. They're telling you that you know best. Do what you want to do. Be free, right? Does that even make sense? That older people tell children, go do what you want to do, be free. You figure it out on your own. Go experiment. Would you give a baby fire and tell them to experiment with it? No, serious. You see how ridiculous that sounds? You don't have to go experiment. Follow what Allah and His Messenger told you to do. If Allah told you it's haram, it's not because He doesn't like you. Right? Oh, Allah doesn't want me to have fun. No, Allah wants you to enter Jannah, bi'idhnillah. Allah wants you to enter Jannah. So Allah is telling you, don't do it that way. Why? Because Jannah is at the end of that path. But you say that, no, it's not the fun path, right? It's not fun to have to come sit in the masjid and study and review, right? Is that fun to anybody? I enjoy it, actually, but I don't know. It might not be fun. You have to make it fun for you. Who likes to go, I don't know, maybe some of you like to practice, right? The point is that if you want Jannah, you have to work for it. You have to work for it. We have to work for it. And it's better if we work at it together than if we work at it separate. That's something very important to realize. Because the kuffar are attacking us all together. They're working together to attack us. So if we want to face them, we have to work together. Can't be divided. You can't have your own plan. I'm going to do it my way and I'm going to survive. No, come work with the rest of us. We're all struggling to get to the same destination. So let's work together. Follow the way of those who came before us. Because they survived. They made it. Do you know that Jahiliyyah time during the time of the Prophet ﷺ was way worse than Jahiliyyah of our time now, right? Even though you don't realize that. I'm going to give you an example. Some of you might not believe it. It's a very bad example. Terrible example, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. Just so that you see how bad the time of the Prophet ﷺ was and then how good it became after they took to Islam. So some of you guys think that, oh, this Ma'ana, you don't know, it's so rough today. It's like bad. You don't know what's going on. Yeah, maybe I don't, right? But I know there was worse times too. And Islam came and changed that. So Islam can save you in your time too. Do you know how marriage took place during the time of the Prophet before Islam came? Who knows? How was marriage before Islam came? You know? Go ahead.
They married their cousins?
We still, Muslims marry our cousins, but there's nothing wrong with this. Maybe you'll marry your cousin when you grow up. Who knows? You go to Somalia and you see your cousin, you fall in love. You never know. It's no problem in Islam, brother. Ali was married to Fatima. That's his direct first cousin. They had amazing children together. Alhamdulillah. I'll tell you how marriage was before Islam. It's very bad. And when you hear it, you're going to hear how bad it was. There was one type of marriage, and Aisha radiallahu anha, she narrates this hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. She mentions that in marriage before Islam, there was like 4 different types. Maybe I only remember 3 right now. Once I keep going, I'll remember if I remember 4 or not. She said there was one type of marriage where it was like the marriage now, that a man would have a daughter or somebody that was under his care, and somebody would come and propose, and he would take the daughter, he would give him mahar, give the daughter mahar, and he would marry, regular marriage, right? Then there was another type of what they considered to be marriage, where a man would, subhanAllah, it's disgusting, I'm telling you, like you don't realize how bad it was. A man would be married to a woman, and prestige meant everything to them, meaning having noble lineage meant everything to them. Oh, I want to be from the lineage of this. You know what lineage means? Like, same way that some people act over qaba'il, right? Oh, I want to be from that qabila is strong. Maybe the president is from this qabila. Oh, nonsense stuff. None of it's going to help you get to Jannah. So they felt it was extremely important to them at that time. So they would send their wife, pay attention to what I'm telling you. They would tell their wife, go stay at the house of such and such man and don't come back until he makes you pregnant. No, listen to what I just said. She's already married to a person. She's the husband, she's the wife of such and such person. Such and such person says, listen, okay, he's already been married to her. Then he says, listen, go to Fulan's house, right? Yeah. No. Listen to the point of it, right? This is not renting her. Go to such and such's house, right? There's worse. This is not even the worst type of marriage yet. Go to such and such's house and don't come back. The husband is telling her to do this. And don't come back from his house until you're pregnant. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Do you understand? I'm going to tell you, be patient. So then when he comes back, when she finally comes back and she thinks she's pregnant, now the husband may go and be with her like a husband goes be with his wife again. He might go be with her like this again after she's pregnant by another man. And then when she's pregnant and she has the baby, he'll celebrate the fact that the baby is by this noble lineage, that she got pregnant by such and such. This guy is some type of famous person. It's terrible, right? Then there was another type where a lady would be with 10 men. Nothing under 10. Like Nothing above 10. It would be like between 7 and 10 or something like that, but 10 different men in the same time period, right? And if she gets pregnant, after she gets pregnant, she'll come and say, they'll bring all 10 of the men back. And it's like an agreement. This was something that was an agreement to them. How disgusting is this, right? The time period that it takes a woman to get pregnant, they will all be in that same time period. Right? And then they will call her back. She will call all 10 of them back, and she will pick which one she wants to be the father. They don't know who the father is. And she will say, you're the father. Yeah, whatever she decided. They had to agree to this, that whoever she picks to be the father, they have to be the father. Might not be the father or not.
Why? Like, why do you do that?
Because this is how evil the society was. There's no reason. This evilness makes no sense. Look outside today. Does it make sense that people are doing the things they're doing? That a girl has a boyfriend, has 3, 4 boyfriends, a boy has 5, 6 girlfriends? Does it make sense? No, when you can get married. Does it make sense? Reality. What makes sense, people don't want to do. That which is pure and clean, people are running away from. Right? A girl will talk to 10 different men. You tell her, yo, get married. She says, oh, what? I'm not married. What's that about? He says, you say get married. The guy, he has 15, 30 girlfriends. He says, you'll get married, man. Now I'm not ready for marriage, brother. That's, you're not ready for marriage, but you're talking to 30 different guys' daughters. So if one of them catch you and kill you, then what are you going to say? Right? You're talking to all these guys' daughters, but you say, I'm not really ready for marriage yet. I'm just going to play around a little bit. I want to, see what's out there. Are you crazy? These are people's daughters you're talking about. Right? So this is what they did. It doesn't make sense, right? Okay. So they would do this, right? And she would say, you're the father. And guess what? He becomes the father. Okay, I'm the father. I can't do nothing else about it. Then there was another type. This was the worst one. Maybe it was 3 types marriage, not 4. I can't remember now. The worst one was that, and they said this was like the lady who would be like sort of like a prostitute. That she would put a flag outside of her door. She would put a flag outside of her door. And this flag meant that any man who wants to come can come. Anybody who wants to come can come here. No, you say astaghfirullah, but it's the same girl that's walking down the street with nothing on. That's a flag to any man. Tell them, right, hey, come talk to me. And some of you guys chase after. The girl that don't wear no clothes, the guy that you guys want to look at, right? Oh, mashallah, beautiful kafir woman. Ya Billah. Serious. And then unfortunately you have the Muslim women who are what's the word? Imitating them. They want to dress like them. They want to act like them. I saw a video of our brother John Fountain that he was giving dawah. He went to go give dawah to the Game, the rapper The Game. MashaAllah, may Allah bless him. He didn't care. He said, yo, man, you got to stop taking life like a game. And accept Islam. I don't want to. I'm not with that. There was a Muslim boy that was there, subhanAllah. And the Muslim boy, he wanted to hug on the groupies that were with The Game. He wanted to hug on the girls. So then the guy said, okay, yeah, go ahead. He didn't see the trick that was coming. I'll send some of you guys the video. You can see the video. It's recorded. It's not a joke. It's not like he's talking. He's recording what's happening. Then the guy tells him, okay, cool. This guy came there with Muslim girls, his sisters, that have hijab on. It's not shocking. I remember when that Somali singer came here, right? Come on, we know the reality of what's happening here in the city. So, is this correct? Somali singer came, people were there, Muslims, right? Want to go party with the guy. Allah musta'an. We're talking about real stuff. We're not making this stuff up. What are we going to do? So the guy came and the guy told him, guess what he told him? Cool. You can hug on these kafir, disgusting women, but guess what? I want to hug your sisters. SubhanAllah, what type of man is this? What type of man is this that, as a Muslim, my heart was like crying that I wish I could go find the guy. And you know what he did? He let the guy hug on his Muslim sister. The girl was happy too. Oh, and she's hugging the kafir guy. Where you have them? Yes, in the hijab. And this guy's touching on her. Oh, I can smell how good you smell. Huh? Yes, it's recorded. I'm telling you, I'll show you the video later. This is public situation. It's not no made up stuff. They're at a restaurant. She has hijab on and she's hugging on the kafir guy and the guy is, I can smell how good you smell. I can still slap your face off. But the Muslim, her brother is there. He has no type of honor with himself. Her brother is there, and he's just like, yo, Because he already sold himself out when he tried to hug the kafir girl. Al-jazaa min jinsil amal. You already sold yourself out. What can you do now? You sold out. And that's what's happening today. That the men are selling out, so the women sell out too. They're like, yo, listen, my brothers are dating kafir girls. Maybe I could date a kafir guy. What's the difference? When Allah in marriage is easy in Islam. Why go and dishonor yourself and play games and do the haram and look like a fool when Allah has made marriage easy in Islam for you? Ya ma'ashara shabab man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj. You guys have inakas, like people of similar to the situation of Lut. If you look at it like from that angle, that Allah gave you what's halal and pure, but rather you'll take that which is haram. No, we don't want to do that halal stuff. You know what we want? We only want the haram. How foolish is that? How foolish does that really sound? So the point of getting me saying this is to you is what? Stick to the ways of the Quran and the Sunnah, regardless who thinks bad about you for it. Regardless who thinks that you're old-fashioned. Regardless who thinks that you're boring. I'd rather be boring with my books, bi'ithnillah, right? I'd rather be boring sticking to the athar of the Prophet ﷺ, and hopefully that will lead me to Jannah, bi'ithnillah, than to play with fire. Literally play with fire. When you're young, you think that it's okay, I'll clean up my act later on and I'll get married later. What if you die? Did you think about that? How many young people die on a daily, You're not promised to make it to 20 years old. You're not promised to make Tawbah. You're not promised to be able to go, when I make Hajj or Umrah, then I'll change my life. None of that's promised for you. Right? Fix your life now. Do the right thing now. So that Allah Ta'ala will make everything else easy for you. Hadith 402, the last hadith of the book, or the last narration. حدثنا محمد بن علي أخبرنا النضر أخبرنا ابن عون عن ابن سيرين قال هذا الحديث دين فانظروا عمن تأخذون دينكم. MashaAllah. And this is an excellent book, the excellent narration to put at the end of a book of hadith. Excellent. Shows you the understanding of the Imam at-Tirmidhi. Okay, so this last hadith is that the hadith, the knowledge of hadith is your deen. Your deen is what? It's found in this hadith, in these ahadith. So pay attention, look, investigate the one who you take this knowledge from. Meaning, don't take your knowledge just from anyone. Right? When you pick up YouTube today, you don't know who this person is, right? Where they studied at, who they studied from, whether they're a person of the sunnah, whether they're a person of bid'ah, right? Whether they're a person of desires, whatever they might be. But you follow them, and maybe because you're following them, it'll lead you to your destruction. How many times you follow some type of YouTube personality, and this guy, mashallah, he might be doing some things, and then you come to find out he's straight fahish. Videos out that he's fahish. Take your deen serious, and take it from those who take the deen serious. Pay attention to that rule. Hey, take your deen serious, because this is what's going to either be your Jannah or your fire, and only take it from those who take it serious. Don't take it from those who play around with it and they just want to do what they call clickbait and they want to just be funny and no, this deen, yes, you can have fun, but not about this. We don't take this as a joke. This is our deen. It's not a joke. This is where Jannah may be or the fire may be. Not saying you can't have fun, enjoy yourself. But when it comes to this deen, take it serious. If you say that you want to go to the Jannah, if you say that you want to be away from the fire, then the best and only way of safety is to be serious when it comes to your deen. Don't think that because you're young that you shouldn't be serious. The Sahaba were 14, 15 fighting on the battlefield. I can't keep telling you guys the same thing. They were men at 14, 15. Some of you guys think that, okay, let me finish college, then I'll start being serious. No, that's so backwards. That's what the Western mindset wants you to think. That wait till you become 30 to become serious. By that time, you're just a fool. A 30-year-old fool. You haven't been serious yet? All you know how to do is play. If somebody asks you, what can you do? You're 18 years old. What are you good at? I know how to play GTA. Seriously? You haven't developed any type of skill and you're 18 years old. You don't know where you want to go in your life or what you want to do. Even at 15, 16, you're baligh, you're mukallaf. Allah is already writing your deeds down. You should know what you want to do with your life and be thinking about that by now. It's not time to play around. 15 years old and all you do is play around. That doesn't make sense. 15 years old, you don't know what you want to do with your life yet? The Sahaba were 13, 14 years old on the battlefield fighting. They knew what they wanted to do with their life. What did they want? They wanted Jannah. What do you want to do with your life? 15 years old, 14 years old, and you still just want to play. You just wait for mommy to cook for you. Mommy, did you cook something? Fortnite. Seriously. You really have to start thinking about that, about what are you doing with your lives. Life is too short. And next day is not promised to you. Not promised to me, it's not promised to any of us. So take your life serious now. Take your life serious now. That is the end. May Allah bless us in this book and learning about the way of the Prophet ﷺ, how he was, his description. May Allah bless us in it and allow us to act on it. Wallahi, the key to success is acting upon the knowledge, not just knowing, but acting on it. So we ask Allah to let it mix with our blood and our sweat, so we act upon what we know from the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we allow ourselves to take this deen serious, whether you're a boy or a girl. Min dhakarin aw untha, right? Whether you're a boy or a girl, same thing goes. I'm talking to a boy. Same thing goes to you girls. You're 14, 15. All you care about what you're going to wear tomorrow. Seriously. You should be planning, figuring out what are you going to do. Seriously. 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. The reality is that, and I'm saying this clear because I want you to know what I'm saying, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he created you. Hey, stop that noise, man, before I kick you out.
It's not me, that's the baby.
It sounds like you, maybe. Anyway. Seriously, pay attention to something, right? People sometimes they wonder, a girl, she's 14, 15 years old, where should her mind be doing? What should she be thinking about? What makeup is out tomorrow? It's not just about how to cook, brother. She should know how to cook even before then, obviously, right? Because she's going to raise a family. She should be paying attention. By that age, she should be trying to figure out how to be the best mom she could be, inshallah, or the best wife, right? And, she should be educating herself on how to be an educator. Did you hear what I just said? She should be educating herself on how to be an educator. She should be learning how to manage time, because the women are the ones who manage the time most of the time. They're managers. She should be looking at management books, how to be a manager. Why? Because the house is a corporation. It's a company. And she has to know how to manage that company. She's responsible, as the Prophet ﷺ said, for managing that company. So she should know that type of stuff. Even when it comes to like managing expenses, she should be aware of that stuff. How can I best save money for my family? Not spend the money. You girls get it wrong. You want to know how to spend money. That's not what a woman is about. She's supposed to do what? She's ra'iyata ala mali zawjuha. She's the one who's supposed to take care of the wealth of her husband. Meaning what? She should know how to spend it properly. She should know which store has the sales. Which store can I get the cheapest stuff from? Right? How do I educate my children even before they're born? Right? They're in my stomach. How do I educate them? Seriously. Because that's her role, and it's the most important role. That's why we have the problems we have today in society, because the women just know how to cook. They don't know how to educate. They might be uneducated themselves. All they know is how to cook and how to look pretty. Oh, I'm going to put my hair this way because it looks nice. Yeah, that's cool. But all that goes away eventually. The woman has to focus on how to be an educator, how to be a manager, right? It's not just about being pretty. It's not just about cooking good. Yes, you got to cook good. But there's other things that go into being a wife. There's other things that go into being a mother. There's other things that go into raising the ummah. What is the best way that I should raise a boy? You should be looking at psychology. The mother should be the psychologist of the family. She should be very focused on psychology, child psychology. How do I get the best results out of my children? The husband should be going out to work and make sure that the family has. The wife is home trying to psychologically analyze the whole family. How do I get the best results out of my child? Even the best results out of my husband. How do I get the best results out of this guy? Right? How do I get the best results? She shouldn't just be, and that's the problem again. We raise our daughters just to know how to cook. Man, she makes good food. Yes, that's good. Huh? If they don't know how to cook, they're not even wife material. I don't care what anyone says. If a girl doesn't know how to cook, she doesn't deserve. What, she get married for what? You weren't preparing. Nobody cares about looks. She's going to get old one day. We're all going to get old one day. Right? At the end of the day, we're all going to get old one day. The man is going to get old one day. The girl is going to get old one day. Yeah, she'll still be seen as pretty, but okay, the looks go away. It's not from the asl of marriage to just want to be married and not to have children, to not to want to have children. If Allah doesn't bless you with children, it's no problem. But if you don't want to have children, you prevent yourself from having children, that's not the asl of marriage in Islam. That's not the purpose of marriage in Islam. So again, you guys should be preparing yourself for your further lives. Another thing that the women should familiarize themselves with, alhamdulillah for COVID, that a lot of women are looking at this now. A lot of women like to go outside to work, right? They like to go and they want to have jobs outside. I want to be the president of this fortune. No, be the president of your house. Now, if you want to make money, it's no problem. We're not saying that you can't have an income. How did Khadija make money? Did she go out and make business in the store? No. And she was rich. She sent people. Learn how to manage from your house. Nowadays, you can have online businesses. Learn how to be that unique. Where you have a business from your house, where you don't have to go outside. Wallahi billahi tallahi, I'm swearing by Allah. You know I don't do this a lot. I don't know any job where a girl goes to work and she's not going to be harassed. Tell me one. There's no way possible that a girl is going to go to work for 8 hours a day around men, kafir men, even Muslim men, and she's not going to be harassed. She's not going to be looked at, talked about when she turns to go do this. She picks up something on the ground and the guy, yo. Foolish, fast people, right? And then you're going to have some that are going to be bold enough to come and try to talk to her or touch her. Right? Hey, mashallah, what's this thing you're wearing? Oh, they call it a hijab? I'm interested in Islam. That's the first game that they always talk about. Yeah, I was thinking about being Muslim. Yeah, can you tell me? Yeah, go talk to my brothers. They'll tell you everything you need to know about Islam. Same thing with girls. They'll try that with the guy they like. Oh, I really was thinking about being a Muslim. Oh, mashallah, I have sisters that can tell you everything you need to know. Don't fall for the trick. Don't fall for the trick. It's a trick. Don't think that they just see you to be the most righteous person on the earth and they want your da'wah only. No, they only want to talk to me about Islam. No, they want a lot more than just to talk to you about Islam. Trust me. So pay attention to these tricks. If you're going to live in this society, live in America, then you have to know the tricks of America. Right? You got to know what's really going down and how to save yourself. The number one thing, the women should not be working. That is number one uno rule. There's no way she's going to save herself from being harassed. It does not happen. You can say what you want. I've grown up in this country. I've worked in different fields, from factories, from restaurants to professional places. I've worked it all. I've never seen a work environment where women are not harassed. Tell me one if you've seen one. Oh, as a doctor? No. Same thing. That's probably the worst place sometimes, right? Okay, if you're a doctor at an all-women's facility or something, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you. That's excellent. We need that. But otherwise, you're going to be harassed. You're going to be sexualized. You're going to be intimidated. All of that. It's reality. No, but do we not understand why women work? Yes, we understand because us men are bums. That's why they go to work. If you want to know why they work, because we're bums. Right? The guy wants to play Fortnite while his sister goes to work. What is that? The guy's playing GTA, his sister is slaving at a job. You're a bum. I'm telling you. You are a capital bum. Your sister is working and slaving, being harassed at work, and you're playing GTA. Whoa, whoa. What type of manhood is that? And that's even worse, but that's because it's become normalized. They think that somebody flirting with them is because they're cute. No, Kafir men don't care about that. You could be the ugliest thing moving. They want one thing from you and one thing only. I'm serious. They don't want a future. They want to do what they want to do, wa'iyadu billah, and sayonara. Oh, look, oh, that Muslim girl, yeah. I really know her. You don't know her. You'll embarrass yourself and the rest of the Muslims. You embarrass yourself and the rest of the Muslims. Now, they'll look at every other Muslim girl as being like that. Oh, we don't got to respect them Muslim girls. They just like everybody else, but they just wear all that stuff. That's what happens. You end up humiliating everyone. But again, it goes back to you guys, right? You have sisters, cousins, aunts, and they're working. Why? Because they don't trust you to take care of them. They say, man, I have to work. I have no other choice because my brother is a bum. They might not say it the way I'm saying it to you, but they know it about you. They say, my brother's a bum. He's not going to help me. And then they worry about the minute they're going to marry. The first question the man asks the girl when he wants to marry today, where's she work at? Why do you care about where she work at? You're supposed to be trying to figure out how can I get her out of that job. Not about where she has a good job. Man, she can help pay these bills, huh? Like, are you a man? Like, seriously, are you a man? You're comfortable with telling your wife, yo, listen, you need to go to work because, we got to pay these bills. We don't have to do anything. You have to pay those bills. And, if Allah bless me to have some type of money, then maybe I'll help you out. We say, man, it's 2020. No, people money's been funny. It's not just because it's 2020 that she needs the help now. No. Then stop spending so much money. Stop living outside of your means. You don't need a new car every 2-3 years. Live inside of your means. Yes, brother.
How about she's the manager?
Of what?
Of the job.
That's even worse. The man's still going to have to flirt with the manager. What do you think?
What about daycare?
A daycare is good. It's in her house. There's so many businesses that a woman can do and make money from her home. But the problem is that she hasn't been thinking about that from before.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وبعث مقام محمود الذي وعدته إنك لتخلف. So again, that's the point. Take your deen serious. Don't compromise your deen to achieve the dunya. All right, you go to the job and the lady sticks out her hand. Hey, how you doing? You're like, man, my dunya's at stake. How you doing? Nah, don't compromise your deen. Allah is going to take care of you. You don't have to compromise your deen. Right? The girl, she thinks that maybe if I flirt with the manager a little bit, he'll give me the better position. I see other people do it. Seriously, right? No. So pay attention to these type of things because it destroys your deen. These type of things you think are small are the things that destroy your deen because the more that you destroy your shyness, your deen goes with it. You're no longer shy. You don't mind a man coming and touching you. At first, he just touched you on your hand. Then where's he going to touch you after that? Seriously. You don't mind when you walk by and the guy says something to you. Hey, It starts with kalam, starts with talk. Then it goes to the touch. Then it goes to whatever else happens after that. Stop it from the beginning. And from the best ways of stopping it is that the women should be comfortable with being in their homes. They should be comfortable with being in their homes. It's not backwards. It's not backwards. It's the reality. It's understanding the reality of life. The more that men and women mix together, the more they lose their shyness. the more they get comfortable with doing things they shouldn't do. Yes, brother.
What about like being in public buying stuff?
I mean, you have to buy groceries. We're not talking about, that's a necessity that you do once or twice a week. We're talking about every day, 8 hours a day.
Say she's working, right? This is already working. That's bad already, right?
Huh?
Just run the caps.
Why what?
Why don't you just run the cap?
Oh, while she's working? To be honest with you,
It's like
it's better. But to be honest with you, sometimes, it doesn't matter what she wears, reality. Like, you gotta know something about men, right? She can wear niqab, right? Alhamdulillah, that's better. That's something that she should do. But the reality, if the man sees her fingernail, he's gonna talk about how pretty her fingernail is. MashaAllah, man, I can't see your face, but I know you're beautiful because you have pretty fingernails. That's what men will say to you, correct? They'll find a way. A man is gonna find a way. When he wants what he wants, he's gonna find a way. Sometimes some men, they see the woman that has niqab and he finds her to be, something mysterious. Right? The reality is the thing that solves this. Hey, quiet before. The thing that solves the problem is that you stay to what Allah has said, and Allah told us in the Quran what solves it. وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِهِنَّ. Right? Stay in your homes. I don't know why we try to look away outside of it. Oh, stay in your houses. That's what Allah told the woman to do. Right? So what else is there really? Stay in your homes. 8 hours at a job, nothing but fitna. Now we know, of course, there's some women that have no choice but to work. That's called a durura. Then, of course, a durura tabihu al-mahdhurat. Some things that are normally not allowed become permissible because you have a pressing need. Right? You have to feed your children. No one else is going to take care of you. We understand that. But let's say you get married and the husband says, okay, I'm going to take care of you. And you say, no, I'm not quitting my job. No, what are you talking about? You no longer have a need to work. So you should not be working outside amongst men like this. Huh? What were you saying? You don't agree? Okay, alhamdulillah. A benefit for her, how? Helping who? I said if she's a doctor for an all-women facility, yes. But as soon as she has to work in a hospital where there's mixing, there's a greater harm that comes from that. And the greater harm is the fitna of zina. It's it's too easy to happen. هذا وصلى الله سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.